Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Eric. I just got done editing the 3D puff video. I just want to give you guys a heads up. I wasn't using my normal mic, and unfortunately the audio, it sounds like it was recorded on a potato. So I'm just going to apologize ahead of time, and hopefully you guys can sit through it. I've actually listened to podcasts with worse audio, but not for long sometimes. So I didn't want to just throw away the footage, so I went ahead and edited it and still uploaded it. Hopefully it's good enough for you guys and you can sit through it and actually learn something. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to fix it and re-upload. I plan on actually doing more 3D puffs, so this won't be the only one in the near future. So let me know what you guys think. And again, sorry for the audio, but you know it sucks, but we gotta roll with it, make it happen. All right, thanks, guys.
It's finally here. So what I'm gonna do for you, I'm gonna digitize this hat design that I want to do. Hopefully to sell local. Sacramento, that's where I'm from. And I just want to go over a few basics just to get you started in digitizing 3D. If you haven't digitized 3D, this is gonna be a perfect video for you. If you've already done it, you probably know everything I'm about to tell you. So feel free to click off or just watch and leave a comment down below on how I'm doing. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll get right into it. If you don't know, 3D puff, you use foam. You can either buy cheap foam from Joann's or your local craft store, or you can go to All Stitch or some kind of embroidery company and get embroidery foam. Personally, I've used both and haven't seen too much of a difference. Embroidery stores usually have thicker foam, so a little bit more variables there. And one thing you'll notice when you do digitize, 3D puff is that you're going to make the stitch width a lot closer than you normally would in satin stitches. And also, with that said, you're going to only be using satin stitches for the 3D puff. And you're not going to use a normal underlay. You won't have any zigzags. You won't have any double tatami or anything like that. You're just going to use a single, hold on, you're going to use basically a tack down stitch, like like you're doing an applique. So it'll be a single stitch down the middle, and that will just hold down the foam. So it'll be nice and easy for the satin stitches to lay right over top. A couple things you also need to know is with that little underlay, you're going to be capping off the corners here, and I'll show you that. And that will help prevent the foam from slipping underneath and sticking out after you embroider. And we'll definitely get into that more later as well. And yeah, I guess that's going to be the basics right now that we're going to talk about. So let's just go ahead and I'll start showing you some things. Before I get into the digitizing, I want to show you, let's see, I thought I had it pulled open already. Let's go here. I'm on Hatch 2, and in Hatch, it actually comes with a couple 3D, at least one 3D font. So let's go ahead and type in the same letters, SAT, and there you have it. This right here is 3D puff, and I didn't have to do anything. That's kind of nice. You want to watch it stitch out. See, it's capping it off. It's doing an underlay, and then it's going to 3D puff. So that's basically the extent to what you're going to be doing in 3D puff. It's not as intimidating, but if digitizing is already intimidating to you, this will be too. So that's one option. You could use the font that comes with the system, or what I have here is already pre-bought 3D puff font. So that's kind of nice. There we are. So you go in here, switch it to DST. And we'll just open up the S. So this right here, 3D puff. So the bottom green part is not going to be 3D puff, but the red over top, that will be 3D puff. And if you're going to stay with these colors, you want to make sure that you're using red foam as well, because sometimes the foam will stick through no matter what. And my favorite website to get 3D puff designs is going to be apexmbdigitdesigns.com, and I'll leave that link down below as well. So let's go ahead, search 3D puff, or in this case 3D, and not only will you get pre-made designs that include 3D puff, they have 3D font, so you can get all that, and that's where I actually got a lot of my font that's already pre-digitized in the 3D. So that's one option if you don't want to have to digitize your own stuff. All right, now let's get to the digitizing. All right. Okay, so the reason we're going to be using a satin fill instead of tatami or any other one is that you're going to need that thread to lay over top the foam. And what it will actually do as it's laying the foam, or as it's stitching out, it's going to be cutting that foam. If you did a tatami, or if your satin stitch was too short and it went into the middle, you won't have the desired effect. So when we do it, we're going to make sure that we turn off the auto split function. So let me just go ahead, digitize a straight line for you. Okay. Oops. Okay, so let's say we want to turn this line into a 3D puff. So what we're just going to do, we're just going to cut it in half. So let's go 45. Whoops. Wrong way. So I like it a little bit wider, and spacing, we're going to go ahead, cut that in half. Go 8. So as you see, it really thickened up. All right, so that's good for digitizing. Now let's say we were doing a single letter, an I, and that was the extent of the letter. If we do not cap off these edges, you will have foam hanging out, and it will look bad. So what we'll do, I'll show you on the S here. We're going to go ahead, switch to digitizing. We're going to do a open shape, single run, and usually you kind of want to increase the length on it, but we'll just roll with it. So we're going to cap off this end, and this is just going to hold it down. That might even be too much. And then we're going to go ahead, walk on over to the other side. And then we're going to cap this side off. And not only will this keep the foam from sticking out, but it's going to hold this foam in place. Okay, so there you go. That's the first step. We have our underlay. And then let me just show you over here. So, does that not have underlays? Okay, sorry. So over here, I'm going to show you. This right here, it has some preset underlays. Right now it has tatami. So I could do a center run. And that will, what it will do is run a single line. Let me just show you. Runs a single line up and down, and it will stitch it out. So that will work in some cases, but you really want to cap these ends. And there's a few different ways you can cap it. This is probably the most simplest way. I have seen other people in the past. We'll just show you on the A here. they'll do this and turn that into a satin, and then really shrink it down, and that's what they'll use as a cap. So you can do that. It might work for you, it might not. And then if you want to run off of that, you just go over here to open shape and just go to the other side. And then on this side, we'll do another cap. Switch that to satin. Make it a little bit smaller. Perfect. And if you want that all to stitch out in one motion, come over here, go to stitching. We want it to tie in, so what that will do, that will tie it off so it's not loose in the back, or it won't slip out. And what we'll do is turn off automatic trims. So what it will do is it will just embroider the satin stitch right here and go right into this stitch. But on this stitch, we have to make sure that we turn off the tie-in, turn off the tie-off, and turn off the trim. And then go to the final one, turn off the tie-off, or the tie-in. You could keep the tie-off on, and you could keep the automatic trim on, since it's the end. And we don't need an underlay on either of these, so go ahead, shut that underlay, get it out of here. So, let's just go ahead and leave it like this, and then you just see the difference, I guess. So let's go ahead and digitize this. So you could do just like that with a single run and turn that into a satin stitch. But I like to just, it takes a little bit more time, but you get the exact dimensions and you don't have to play around too much. And I'll just trace the outside. So go to close shape, start in the corner. And we're just going to trace it. Let's go back on that one. Okay, so right now I just outlined this. So click on that, go over here to fill, and that's a tatami, switch it to satin. All right, that looks ugly, right? So right off the bat, we're gonna go over here and click auto split, turn that off, it's looking better instantly. And we are going to change those stitch angles on it. So edit object, add stitch angles. So I like it to match over here. We have some more stitch angles. So you just want to place these even out so you have your stitches all lay nicely. All right, guys. So that's looking pretty good. As you see, I gotta fix that. Go to reshape. Let's add another point. Bring that down. All right, and there you have it. Pretty simple, right? You clean up other places, but I'm liking that. Let's go ahead and digitize this now. And I'll go ahead and finish this digitizing. And we're pretty much home at this point. Let me see. Okay. And I mentioned to you about the stitch spacing. So let's go back over here. So we never changed the spacing on this. So let's go over here. Let's change the spacing. We're going to go down to 8, and that's really going to thicken up the stitches, as in adding stitches. And what that will do, that will help cut the foam, and that will help prevent foam from sticking out between the stitches. So, important step there. All right, now let's go ahead, keep digitizing. And I don't know if I told you, but this right here is called capping. So, alrighty, so let's go ahead and finish this digitizing, and we are home free. Alright. I mean, that kind of looks cool too, just as it is. Switch to the satin. And see, if you don't hit auto split, it's going to, because these satin stitches are pretty long, it's going to automatically, because Hatch likes to make it very user friendly. In this case, it kind of hurts you. So, simple fix, just click that, it'll get rid of that, and it's going to be a long satin stitch, which is just what we want in this case. And we're going to edit objects, add some stitch angles. Alright, see how that looks. Gotta make sure that we increase that width. So, alright, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna do this one freehand. Okay, so if you do it this way, you don't have to go in here and change all your tie in, tie off settings, because it's going to be all done in one run stitch and just knock it all out for you. So let's go ahead. Check, make sure I was recording. Let's go ahead and digitize this sucker. You can really zoom in, guys, but I like to just get close enough. As you can see, this isn't the best image, just being all pixelated, but you know, if you're digitizing for other people, you're not going to get any good images. Just a heads up. Alright, and change that to fill, satin, auto split, shorten up that spacing, and let's add some stitch angles. Alright, alright. Let's change that to a cool color. Alright, well, I might have to adjust the size. Now, if this is for my hat, I'm going to want it a little bit bigger. So the cool thing about when you're digitizing, as long as you haven't exported this or output this design into whatever file your machine needs, DST, PEZ, whatever, it's pretty easy to resize. However, if you have a bunch of different type of stitches, tatami, run stitches, backstitch, whatever, resizing can really mess that up, even in the digitizing process. So this one, it's a fairly simple design. It's really only a couple different satin stitches. So super simple, easy to fix, and that's gonna, let's see, I think we hit everything. Let me just see my notes real quick. Yeah, perfect. Well, stay tuned. I'm going to be embroidering this on a hat, and I look forward to seeing how it goes. What I would do before you embroider on a hat is test stitch it on something flat, on some, couple of pieces of cutaway, because you don't want to be making, it's very easy to miss something when digitizing and catch it during the embroidery process. So always test stitch before you go and put it on a garment or a hat or whatever you're using. Just save yourself the heartache. And that's going to be the video today. I hope I answered some of your guys' questions. I hope I showed you that it's very possible to do 3D puff. It's not super intimidating. It might be even more intimidating to embroider it than it is to digitize it. So I think knowing how to embroider it, knowing how to digitize that will just make you the ultimate embroidery specialist. So you should know how to do all that if your long-term goal is to have an embroidery business. So, and with that said, I don't always digitize everything I stitch out. I pay digitizers many times when I'm too busy, and when they send me the finished file, I always test stitch that one out too before I throw it on anything. So there's a bunch of great digitizers out there to use. You'll have to kind of look around for them in the Facebook groups, but actually you don't really have to look, they'll find you. All right, well, leave any questions down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful. I'm not the best teacher. That would be my wife. She's actually a master degree teacher, and I'm just some guy. So, yeah, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe, and if this video was helpful, please share with a friend that would find some use out of this. So, yeah, ending videos is so hard, so I'm just gonna say it. Good night, guys. Have a great day. Bye.